Hey everyone, this is Reed Chalo. I'm here with Carlo behind the camera here. We're going to be talking about Yang here at Old Town for the Dia de los Muertos event. Going to be answering questions and finding out what people would do with an extra $1,000 a month.
So hi, my name is Kim. We are here in Old Town Dia de los Muertos, and I'm here with Steve.
Steve Sherrill, hi, nice to meet you.
And Steve, we just wanted to ask people what issues you're concerned about for the upcoming election.
There's two main issues that I'm really focused on. One of them is just the divisiveness in the country, and I feel like Yang is really the only person that has kind of brought together both sides, and he's not, kind of the vitriol and the separate, language, and I really like that he is inclusive with the other candidates, really with the other parties, but he still also calls out things that need to be called out. And then the other big one is automation. I feel like it's just, I work in tech and I work in manufacturing, and I'm watching that transformation take place, and it's not to displace people, but it's just a byproduct of automation happening. And I feel like he's really the only person that gets it. And so I feel like, you just saw my little kids running around. It needs to be talked about. Even if it doesn't necessarily happen right now, that's something that we need to address. So.
What's your name?
Cristobal Rosas.
Okay, did you grow up here? Are you a local San Diegan?
Born and raised in Mexico, and now U.S. citizen.
Awesome. Have you been looking into the election in 2020?
I have not get into it, but I think it's about to start focus on it.
Have you heard of this presidential candidate, Andrew Yang?
I have heard, yes.
Awesome. What have you heard about him?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm still off, so I know most of the names.
Yes.
I have nothing. I'm not really sure what's into it yet. So.
Are you that type of voter that are willing to dig deep and look in YouTube and look at these candidates, or really just focus on TV presentation?
Honestly, I usually only watch TV. Okay. I have not YouTube. Now you got a good point. I've never thought about going to YouTube and trying to find out exactly what they're doing outside besides just talking to us on TV. Yeah. But I only watch them on TV.
Hello, so what is your name?
I'm Kim Heyman.
Kim, I'm Levin Chen. Good to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
So I flagged you down and handed you a cool Yang sticker.
Yes.
And what was the first thing you said to me?
Well, I feel a little bad about this, but at first I said, I love Pete.
Yeah.
Because at first when I saw this sticker, I actually thought it was Pete Buttigieg, but...
Yeah. And did you meet the people that were here that were really friendly?
No,
and stuff?
I haven't yet. I haven't yet. But that said, I think Andrew Yang has so much ahead of him, and I love some of his ideas.
Yeah. And I think we were talking about how the field is so much better with Yang in it already. Mm-hmm. It's like a breath of fresh air of reason through the whole field.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. No, and I think his idea of giving $1,000 a month to families, I think that could really help. Mm-hmm. It's going to be used for things like, medications or maybe food or childcare, and really add a boost to the economy. So I think that idea has a ton of potential, and I would love to see it enacted.
And how did you first hear about Yang?
How did I first hear about Yang? It was actually Freakonomics. That was the first, was an interview on Freakonomics with Stephen Dubner. And then I've since followed up on a couple of podcasts. I follow him on Reddit and all the social media and stuff. And so I haven't heard a thing that I don't like yet.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Automation, it's something that I feel like we all kind of knew, but we didn't really know, how big of an issue it was, or is anyone really addressing this issue in government? Do you have favorite policies of him?
UBI, I think, is the right direction to head, as well as, universal socialized medicine. I think they're hard nuts to crack, and he's really the only one talking about how to finance them and the net effect on the economy. So realistically, I don't know, is that a short-term thing that can happen? But if we don't steer the ship and start heading in that direction, then again, the other thing is just to stop talking about only race and only things that are really dividing the country, and look at what are the root causes, and kind of more back to everyone is generally good, and if we can rally around things that are kind of a common cause, that brings the country back together and stops to get us away from this sort of this polarization that really, I don't know, I feel like some of it's just artificial, and the moderates aren't the one out there yelling about stuff. It's always sort of the polls, and I really feel like he's brought in people from both sides, and so that's just something personally that I could definitely rally around.
Our candidate is super interesting. He is really not a politician. He's a problem solver. That's why he polls a lot of both people from the left and people from the right to unite together to go forward. He's running on a platform that's very bold. It might sound very interesting and really sound like a gimmick at first. That's what I've thought.
Okay.
He's running on this platform called Universal Basic Income. So he believes everybody in this country should get $1,000 per month if you're above 18 years old. And he believes that will help our countries a lot. And with many reasons, he goes into all the reasons, all the implementation through his long form interviews.
Okay.
Is that something that you sound like that? What's your initial first reaction, I guess, to that idea?
I mean,
You can be super honest.
okay, well, be really
Yeah.
honest. Well, I mean, looking at other countries, not just ours.
Yeah.
When it comes down to give us money,
Yeah.
it's how well we educated to use it.
Yeah.
Because if we just waste it on whatever, you can get $1 million, and it's still not going to be able to improve.
Yes.
The country's not going to get any better. So, if you get $1,000, know what you're going to do with it to make your life easier, and of course grow the country and economically speaking, of course.
Yes.
But if you're just going to buy who knows what,
Yeah.
then what's the point of
Yeah.
helping us with that money?
Yeah.
And if we're not gonna use it as well, then
love
we
that.
want to spell. You know what I mean? We got kids that
Yeah, exactly.
we need to take care of. We got a lot of stuff that needs to go first. Besides,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, this is, I think when you said that, it brings me the question for me to you is that would you rather have the government, in your opinion, have programs that's specifically designed for people to use the money, or do you think it's better for the people to get the money in their own pocket so they know, because everybody's different and they know what they need it on to spend it themselves? Which one do you think is better? Government program, government's getting the money for people, or people getting the money themselves?
Well, I think either one can work.
Yeah.
As long as we get educated
Right.
on how to go to use it and how to go to get it.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you get programs, then welcome. If
Yeah.
we know where they are, if we know how to get them, and I mean, a lot of teams go worth basis.
Yeah.
But if we know where to go get it and how to get it, and then they also teach us where we can actually use it, then it probably works both ways.
That's my name, Jeffrey. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, guys.
Thank you for the discussion.
Yeah, and I think we have a lot of talented candidates in the field this year. And for me, like, Yang was the person who woke me up and pulled me out of my political nihilism, so to say.
Yeah.
And then I started caring. This is my first year handing out stickers and
Really? I think that's
doing
so cool.
this.
Yeah.
And as if I remember correctly, it's about 35% of the Yang gang has never voted before. So
Really?
yeah.
See, okay, now that is a thing that has to change. We have to get, like, I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but young people are going to save our future. And if they don't get off their butts and vote, it's just, everything's going to stay the same. And I was saying to you earlier, I don't want to, like, take up all your camera time. You know, right now we've got, you know, the three leads on the Democratic side are all over 70. We need some freaking younger people in there, people who are, say, in their 50s or 40s or 30s who give a different perspective and who haven't yet become cynical. You know, we need the people who are going to offer hope and new ideas, you know. I mean, to be quite honest, I think Yang is really great. I mean, I am, like I said, a Pete person, but that said, I think Yang's got a great future.
I enjoy talking to Pete supporters, and today I was inspired to go read a lot of Pete's policies because he does strike me as a very reasonable person. And I just love reasonable conversations.
Right. Well, and I love, you know, in addition to reasonable, you have intelligence, you have integrity, you have foresight, you have the ability to work across all groups of people. I don't know. I think if we can get somebody like that in office, I think things are just going to, you know, get better and better for everybody.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What was
So I was going to say, like, a lot of people are saying these people don't have, even Pete, like, he doesn't have enough experience. Yang especially because he's a complete outsider.
Right.
And I say, you know, experience in the old paradigm of things is not really, because you have to
Yeah.
unlearn those things you
Well,
learn.
okay, I will take exception to that, only in that you have to understand how the process works. So it is good to have at least a working knowledge, but you know, you get someone like Yang, you know, you get him on some committees, you know, you get him, you know, in some sort of role where he gets to understand how things kind of gel together. So you do need that. I mean, you can't, like, say if you were going to run a company, you have to understand how the different things like financials work with human resources and all of that. And for running the United States, I think that's super important. But that said, you can get that experience in different ways.
So I would say that there's a problem of, like, asymmetry of skill sets, right? You have Yang, who's a social entrepreneur. He spent his career creating jobs in blighted cities in the startup scene. So he's got a lot of, he's been human-centered capitalism before he termed that term.
I think that's great.
And so he's got experience with that. And he was, part of the Obama, he wasn't in the cabinet, but
Right, but he was one
he
of
was
the
an
advisors.
advisor.
Yeah.
So,
And I was a huge Obama fan, so even the fact that he was part of Obama's advisors, awesome,
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck.
It was
Have
a
fun
very pleasant
today.
conversation. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think just seeing people come together in a unified and positive way, like you're saying, like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, people who've never voted before or they've never been involved. Like you said, it was your first time donating.
First time donating, yeah, absolutely. And and there's obviously a president that you could talk about right now, but I feel like that's the other thing is like, you can't just rally around and say, hey, we just hate that guy, so anybody but him. He's actually like, yeah, fine, that's, sort of most people think that. Let's talk about what really matters and how we're going to move the country forward. So even as not left, not right, forward is just such a great slogan.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you want people to know about, like, Yang or about the issues?
And that's the other thing is just like the grassroots stuff, like Google Andrew Yang, Yang beats Trump, whatever. Just go Google Andrew Yang. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Just go Google it, watch it. I've sent my parents, sent a bunch of people over there. Like, even if you don't want to vote for the guy, you need to understand what his message is because it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. That's kind of where I am.
Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. Appreciate it.
Now you hear it, now you know it. The body of the life force came forth just to show it's crucial. Lyrical style ain't what it used to. Microphone check 1, 2. I hit the atmosphere, give MCs visions of comets. Technique hit by force, the earth I hit and bomb it. Immaculate conception with the weapon, emitting mind-boggling forms to mental sections. Beats is cooked, bass burning like it's lava. Throwing shit together more iller than MacGyver. I never tire, spirit live like a wire. I came to let you know fantasies burn like desires. Before I go on this mic, I show pity. Coast to coast, I whirlwind through cities.
And we're having a little sign display back here. So we ran into each other. That we're out here at the Dia de los Muertos,